house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
Oh my God. Happy Monday, everybody. It is your girl, Constance Carter. You guys, go let everybody you know who wants to do some wealth building in 2026 to come on in, because we're going to talk about how to get to it. We're going to talk about how to get to the money. But I need you to do me a favor real quick and go tell everybody that we live, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to be interactive. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to dialogue with me, because you guys know that this is a dialogue and not a monologue. If you've ever been here before, you know that this is a dialogue and not a monologue. And what does that mean? That means I want you to talk back to me and talk black to me. This is very important information, because listen, I don't know if you know anything about Constance Carter, but I exist to help Black people build wealth, protect their wealth, pass their wealth. That's why I'm here. That's why I come live every single day. That's why I do every single thing that I do, because I'm here to help us get in position. I don't know if you know, but they said that in the year 2053, our median wealth is going to be at zero. Everything I talk about, even when I'm talking about history, whatever it is, it's really to educate us. It's really to put you in a mind frame so that you really understand why we're here, why we're doing the things that we are doing. There is a sociology and a psychological reason why we're doing what we're doing, why we have the conditioning that we have, and that's across the board. And then how do we get past this, and how do we come together? Because, you know, money doesn't solve everything, but it solves a lot of things. Poverty is very hurtful. And my thing is getting as many people in position as I possibly can so that they can be in a position not only to have, but to help. I was having a conversation with my son this morning. So I don't know if y'all know, I got 4 kids, y'all. And they're doing pretty good. And I'm so, oh my God, I'm so proud of all my kids. Y'all, listen, God is great. I'm really extremely proud of all my kids. But here's the thing. So I have a daughter who's 26 years old. She's a real estate professional like me. It took her a minute, right? It took her a minute to get, you know, to decide that this is what she wanted to do with her life. But, you know, she's following in her mom's footsteps. That's awesome. She's been coming with me and helping and hanging out with me since she was young. My oldest son is a senior at Hampton University. Yes, like he's doing it. He just got he's taking a Series 7. He has a finance major and he wants to get into law. He wants to be an attorney. My middle son is at Jackson. In fact, he was actually going to come home and do something different, but I'm sending him back to Jackson on Wednesday. So he's going to complete his sophomore year at Jackson University. My youngest son, Camille, I often talk about, I can't crack that nut. This kid doesn't really talk that much. Dude is a whole motivational speaker, which I found out that he was a secret motivational speaker. I had no idea, but the boy is out there killing it. You understand me? And I'm so proud of all 4 of my kids. But this morning I was having a conversation with my middle son, because my middle son, you know, he's just trying to figure things out. And what I want them to know, and this is what we have to let our children know, is that, first of all, you don't have to have it all figured out. And don't feel, because he's 19, like you're not going to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at this stage in your life. And all of my kids had to go through that, but he feels lost in the sauce, right? You got my daughter, she knows what she's doing. You got my oldest son that knows what he's doing. You got my youngest son that's out there just killing it in the personal development space. And he's only 17. And then you have him, he's just like, I'm just floating. And so we were having a conversation and I was talking to him about impact. And, you know, don't necessarily go for the things that is just going to make you money. Go for what's going to bring impact. Because I know that I have impact on people's lives with the information that I give to them based upon what I've learned. That's what keeps me going every day. That's what wakes me up in the morning. That's what keeps me in. That's what kept me, even when they were younger, first one in the office, last one home. That impact, just helping other people, helping to grow and develop people and impart on them the knowledge and the wisdom that they need in order to make a difference in their lives. So if you are blessed to do something that has an impact on somebody's life, I think it is one of the best feelings in the world. And I always say, and I'm not trying to jinx myself or anything, but I often say that I could die today and die happy because I don't have any regrets. I would hate to leave my children without a mother, but I don't have any regrets. And I know that I've made an impact on somebody's life. And so that's the reason why I do this. That's the reason why I come here every single day, is because I want to have an impact on your life. I don't want a whole lot from you. I want us to be able to build. And that's the reason why I talk about history and the historical context of a lot of the reason why we are in this situation and this predicament that we are in is because of history. And so that's the reason why I try to teach those things. But also, I want to let you know what's going on today, because preparation is power. You got to know what's going on. It's a lot of corruption, y'all. It's a lot going on in it's a lot going on in the federal government, and oh my God, well, ICE, and it's some bullshit out there. It's some bullshit, but we have to figure out how to position ourselves to maybe take advantage of some of the things I saw last night before I went to bed. And this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is they're filing charges against Jerome Powell, who is the Federal Reserve Chair. Now, this is part of Trump's revenge tour. If you don't do what I tell you to do, this is the Federal Reserve Chair. He tried to fire the Federal Reserve Chair. I mean, you can't fire the Federal Reserve Chair. He threatened this man. He's tried to put, just like you see Trump putting words in people's mouths all the time. He tried to do that with Jerome Powell, and Jerome Powell embarrassed him and said, no, that's not what it is. And so because of that, there's this retaliation, because he won't arbitrarily reduce the interest rates. He won't do Trump's bidding. And so because of that, now he's filing a suit against him and trying to, and the man is retiring in like 2 months. He's retiring in 2 months. So the point is, he wants to make it known. He's trying to send a message. And so whoever, because the Federal Reserve is an independent, he cannot control, it's independent, right? It's independent from the White House. He can't fire anybody. What he can do is appoint. And so what he's already doing is he's vetting someone that he can appoint that's going to do his work. Now, interest rates are high. Why are interest rates high? Interest rates are high after COVID. So what happens is inflation happened. So when you have inflation, interest rates have to elevate in order for you to curb inflation. But right now we got inflation high. We have interest rates high. Everything is high. When you go to the grocery store, listen, last month I had all 4 of my kids home. These are some grown ass men and my daughter and me. I literally went to the grocery store 4 times in a week and spent no less than $200 each time in a week, every single week. So I'm spending $800 a week, okay, on groceries. Groceries is high as shit. And I got to constantly feed them. And I'm like, damn, is it going to be better for me to send them, when they go back to school? But guess what? When they go back to school, I got to pay their rent and do everything else. So it's like, and I got to feed them a lot of times. They have jobs, but they ask me for money every single day. Inflation is high. Everything is high. And so when you have inflation high, you increase the interest rate so that you can curb inflation. Well, we have both. We have high interest rates and we have inflation. And so Donald Trump, he wants a couple of things. So now don't get it twisted. So he's been talking about reducing interest rates. He has been pressuring Jerome Powell, to decrease interest rates. That would be great for everybody, but it wouldn't be great at the collapse of our economy. Okay. Him reducing interest rates is not great if it's going to collapse the economy. And what Trump doesn't have, Trump is really, he wants the interest rates reduced, not just for the American people. He wants it because he doesn't want to lose the midterms, because we know if he loses the midterms, he's already said it. All the Republicans have said it. Once he loses the midterms, they are going to impeach his ass. There's all kind of illegal shit going on right now. They need to impeach him, but this is his one saving grace. If I can reduce the interest rates for the American people, which is really for my people, the wealthy, the billionaires, they're going to be able to take advantage of this. And so my thing is, how are you going to take advantage of these lower interest rates and get yourself into position to being a 7-figure net worth earner. That's what, so regardless of whatever's happening in the economy, I just always want to tell you, how do you position yourself into taking advantage of these opportunities? But before we start, you already know how it is. You know what it is. What's up, Miss Christina? This is a dialogue and not a monologue. So I need to know, before we even get started, where y'all watching from? Because I know we have people that watch from all over the world. So put in the comments. I see you, Miss Tamara. I see you, Sophia. What's up, Marthella team, Catalyst Real Estate Professionals in California. So we are licensed, and we're real. So if you don't know anything about me, if this is your first time, put that in the comments too. But I am Constance Carter, and I'm a real estate broker. I own a mortgage company, and I'm the broker and CEO of Catalyst Real Estate Professionals, which we were the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. We ended up kind of transitioning our business. We came back. We have a small but mighty team, but we are killing it. And we're licensed in DC, Maryland, Virginia, and California. Okay. And, best-selling author, have several books. I have a book that's actually getting ready to be released on February 1st. It's called Taken, and it's about deed theft. Because again, I just want to be able to help folks that have been taken advantage of. Somebody tried to steal my property a few months ago, and so I wrote a book about it. And so I'm trying to help people on how to recognize deed theft, because it is a problem, and how to fight back. Okay. Also, I own a marijuana dispensary, and I'm an investor. And so I exist to help Black people. Everybody's welcome, but my priority, my focus, and my goal is helping us to be able to build, grow, and pass our wealth. And a lot of times we can build it, right? Because listen, homeownership is the number one way that we build wealth. It's the 80% of wealth in this country is generated through homeownership. It's beautiful. 90% is passed intergenerationally. So think about it. You have 400 years of this country. 400 years. I always like to go to history. For the first 350 years, Black people were not able to participate. Okay. So even after Reconstruction, when we did, so let's go back even further. Let's go back to emancipation. Black folks were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. We did not get the 40 acres and a mule, because after Abraham Lincoln declared it, of course, with the Emancipation Proclamation, Andrew Johnson reversed it. No more, no free land to Black people. However, white people did get the Homestead Act, which gave them 246 million acres of land. So they've been able. So you think about this. This is in 1862. You had the Homestead. There was 2 Homestead Acts where white folks got millions of acres of land for free that Black people weren't able to participate. So for 400 years of this country, 350 years of those years, white folks had an opportunity to participate in wealth. And then when we did after Reconstruction, what happened? A lot of times there was deed theft. They would come in and they would burn down our towns. About not just Black Wall Street, but places all over the country where we had prominent Black towns. And then, okay, now they're not burning down our towns anymore. So now we want to move into these areas. Well, you have what's called redlining. They wouldn't allow us to move in these areas. They wouldn't give us financing. So we're still not able. So it wasn't until 1960s and the 1965 and 1968 Civil Rights Act that we were even able to take advantage, that they were not able to discriminate against us. 50 plus years. So we've only been in the wealth building game for the last 50 years. But in spite of that, y'all, 75% of them are homeowners, because they've gotten a 400-year advantage. They've gotten free land. They've gotten GI bills. They got FHA loans. We didn't get all that. But in spite of that, 44% of us are homeowners. So I want you to pat yourself on the back because of that, because you are Black, you are resilient, and in spite of, you were able to build that wealth. That's a beautiful thing. Amen. God bless you. Okay. And then I don't know if you know, I think the only outlet that I saw that posted about this was MSNBC, that said during COVID 2020, during the COVID era, Black people were the biggest group to increase their wealth in 2020. And that was through home ownership. So give yourselves a round of applause. Because it's in spite of everything else, in spite of the predatory lending. Also during that time, I don't know if you know, but banks have been fined by the CFPB for offering predatory loans. So even with that, we still were able to thrive. So I say a couple of things. Make sure that you work with people who look like you, not just look like you, but that are not going to take advantage of you. I have a client that I was working with last week, right? So this is just recently. And so this is actually someone who I coach. And so I'm helping her get a property, and I'm like I said, I'm a lender. So I do loans as well. And so we sat down and I looked at her finances or whatever. And, I was able to get her more money than this other lender was able to get. I know how to do certain things to make it happen. Right. And, some people, they just look at this and, they don't think outside the box. So I was able to help her. And then, but my rate was a little bit higher than what they had quoted her. So I said, okay, well, let's get an apples to apples comparison because this is important. Send me over what they had sent you so I could see, okay, why is their rates a little bit lower? Well, her lender was charging her $34,000 to get her that rate. Now, when we looked at it, apples to apples, it was only a couple $100 in mortgage payment difference. But they were going to charge this woman, because they know she had a lot of money, $34,000. That's predatory. And that's the reason why you need to work with people who are going to look out for your best interest. Vet people. Talk to people who that are not going to take advantage of you. So that's extremely important as you are. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because we're going to have a training tomorrow with the Gym Masterclass where I'm going to do a deep dive into you understanding your home loans and interest rates and really break that thing down so that you can get the best rates possible, so that you can get the best interest rate and payment. What does that look like? How does that work? We're going to talk about it. So I'm not going to get real surgical today. I'm going to talk about, the feds and reduction of interest rates and what that looks like. But tomorrow in the Gym Masterclass, which is free, if you go to gymmasterclass.com, it's absolutely free. This is what I do. This is my give back. If you go to gymmasterclass.com and register, I'm going to be doing that training tomorrow at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific, absolutely free, and break it down to you so that you really understand how all this stuff works. All this stuff goes hand in hand, though, and it relates to your wealth building. Okay, so I got ahead of myself. I want you to put in where you're watching from. I see Miss Etheline. What's up, Etheline? Etheline was in my B1 real estate mastery training. I do that as well. I teach people how to become real estate investors. So what's up? I see you, Joyce. This is your first time. That's what's up. Welcome, 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 everybody. Finally, before I get started, I know I haven't even got started yet, but I got so much. I get excited about this. Real estate. I took a couple of years off just because I had been doing it for 20 plus years, and I just was burnt out. And so last year I said, you know what, let me get back to doing what I love to do. And it's something that I'm really, really good at. And it's something that I think, I have something, and me and my team, we have something. The way we do real estate, we do it very differently at Catalyst Real Estate. But we do it and the world really needs it. And so, I just want to be able to give back and really help people in a meaningful way. And so that's why I get really excited about this. But what was I going to say? Oh, so if you are a Black-owned business or of a Black-owned business, we need to put their information in the chat, because I'll not just want you to know Black-owned businesses, but I want you to patronize. I mentioned in the year 2053, they said that wealth is going to be a zero for Black people. Real estate is one of the number one ways to build wealth, but ownership is also as well. And I don't know if you know, but less than 3% of businesses in Black communities are Black owned. So when we talk about practicing collective economics, because I talk about that all the time, a lot of times we're unable to practice collective economics because we don't have businesses to do business with. About 10 years, Killer Mike, the rapper, he said, I'm doing a month where I want to do business with Black people. And it was one of the hardest things he'd ever done. It was a social experiment that he did, but he couldn't find a Black business to do business with every single day. So sometimes he found himself sleeping on a bench because there was no Black-owned hotels. Somebody said, and you can agree or not agree, but I'm just going to say what somebody said. They said integration was the worst thing that could have happened to Black people. Why? Because before integration, we couldn't go to other people's hotels. So what do we have to do? We had to have our own hotels. So you had more ownership. We couldn't go to white restaurants. So then we had to start our own restaurants, and Black folks were doing good. But the moment that we no longer had to do business with each other, we stopped doing business with each other. And we thought the white man's ice was colder. And I remember the guys who were at the lunch counters, who were sitting in at the lunch counters, who were getting abused so that they could eat these white people's food. And when they finally got an opportunity to eat these white people's food, they were like, we We protested for this shit. We wanted equality, but we lost ourselves in that equality. So, we have to really be intentional, y'all, about recreating what we have. I'm not saying that we need to be separate, but I am saying that we need to work harder in order to establish our own businesses. Again, 3% of businesses in Black communities are Black owned. So when you go to an Arab community, you're going to see a Black owned business? No. When you go to a Jewish community, are you going to see a Black owned business? No. When you go to a white community, are you going to see a Black owned business, or Asian community or Hispanic community? Are you going to see a Black owned business? No. But when you go to a Black owned business, you're going to see every single one of those people who are pillaging our communities and who are taking money, and we are not making it. So it's paramount. It is imperative that if we really want to close the wealth gap, that we have to be intentional about starting businesses. Not only that, doing business with people who look like us. So that's the reason why every day it's important for me to let people know that if you know of a Black owned business, or you are a Black owned business, put it in here, and don't just say, oh, I got a Black owned business. How do we patronize you? Where do we find your information? What is your website? What's your address? What's your phone number? What do you specialize in? So if you know of a Black owned business, please put it in the comments so that we can make sure that we patronize your Black owned business. Okay. This is important. Now, I do want to tell you, like, tomorrow, okay, before I'm about to start, I'm about to get into the Federal Reserve, but tomorrow I'm having a free training inside the gym masterclass, which I do every Tuesday. Now, this was birthed out of, so I wrote this book. Where is it at? Do I have any? The Ramp. So this is my latest book. It's called The Ramp Method, right? And this is probably, this is my 6th book, and I have another book getting ready to come out in February, but this is probably the best that I've wrote to date. And this really helps you get your mind unstuck. And what I do is, this is what I teach, these strategies I teach to Black women all over. RAMP stands for Rise, Firm, Meditate, and Pray. And I show you the strategies in order and behind this, which has really been amazing for me. And it's really helped me during the worst years of my life. But in my meditation, in my doing my RAMP, what was birthed out of that was, how do I serve other people in a meaningful way? How do I help bring value into people's lives? And so I had already cut down, because I was doing, Dr. Boyce was like, come live every day. And I was doing it at first, but I was like, this is a lot. So I would only come live Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I still have, Tuesdays where I was just really focused on work. So I said, on the days that I don't come live, I could actually do a free training for the people on just different things regarding wealth building strategies, real estate, stock. So I've already done several trainings that were absolutely free. So if you are on there live, if you take them live, then you get it free. But if you're not on live, if you don't come on with me live, then you can join the Grow Your Money Club, and they're on the Grow Your Money Club. So just in case you don't know what the Grow Your Money Club is, that is that is not free. It's a community of trainings that I have that I help, folks in different ways to build wealth. This is what it is. While everybody else is out here blowing their money, you about to be growing your money. How? Inside the Grow Your Money Club, this is your one-stop wealth building training hub designed to help you build, grow, invest, and diversify your income. You have the credit bundle, which is going to help you to increase your credit IQ with business credit, personal credit, with the credit repair masterclass. And then you have the real estate bundle. This is where we're going to show you how to invest in tax deeds, land banks, how to buy a house separately from your spouse, the Living Trust ebook, and from Campus Cash Flows, showing your children how to become real estate investors. In the investor bundle, you're going to learn how to invest using Robinhood, the Investor Success Formula, and the Wealth Map 6-phase blueprint that shows you how to build, grow, and invest your money. And finally, the Business Builder bundle. This is where we show you how to establish your entity and build business credit, how to obtain government contracts, how to create jaw-dropping video content, how to write and publish your best-selling book, and even how to bring your idea to life. You can purchase each training a la carte, get the bundle that fits your goals, or unlock the 12-month roadmap, which is your full access pass to every single training inside the Grow Your Money Club. While they're spending, you stacking. While they're watching, you winning. Join the Grow Your Money Club today. So I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm so glad that you guys are here. All right, y'all. So listen, I want to get to it, and I want to talk about these rates and how they affect you directly, because I think this is really important for us to understand. Because if you're watching the headlines right now, if you're watching the headlines about Donald Trump, about Jerome Powell, about interest rates, about the Federal Reserve, mortgage rates are coming down. And people are sitting around still asking, should I wait? So let's be very, very clear, because rates are coming down. And we'll talk about what happens when rates are coming down. And if you don't understand how the system works, it will work with or without you. Somebody's going to benefit, and you need to be the one that's actually benefiting. Okay. So when Donald Trump is talking about stimulating the economy, one of the fastest ways to do it is through housing. Housing is the number one wealth builder, and it's when it moves money really fast. It's the quickest way that you can grow your money and not blow your money. Now, I looked at these mortgage-backed securities. Now I want to talk about it because a lot of people don't really understand what's happening with the mortgage-backed securities, and that's a way that Donald Trump has been able to reduce rates without having to go through the Federal Reserve, without having to wait for Jerome Powell to reduce the interest rates. Okay. So I don't want you to get it twisted and thinking that he's doing this for y'all. He's doing it for his rich people. He's also doing it because he wants to make sure that, he gets that the Republicans maintain the House in 2026. And that's going to, whatever he does, we need this man out of office. So I don't care what he does in terms of stimulating the economy in any way. There's a whole bunch of other shit that's going on that we have got to make sure that he gets out of office. And it's crazy what his followers, like, they are, the conditioning is crazy. The consonant dissonance is crazy. But I do want to show you how you can actually benefit. Okay. So let's talk about interest rates and mortgage-backed securities. So basically, when you get a mortgage, the bank usually does not like to keep your loan. So they bundle your loan with other people's loans, with thousands of other loans, and they sell it in the secondary market. That is called a mortgage-backed security. Okay. So investors purchase these mortgage-backed securities. So when investors want these bundles, the banks feel safer lending. And when the banks feel safer lending, that's when the interest rates go down. All right. So in a typical market, it's regular business as usual. But when the government or the Federal Reserve steps in and buys those mortgage-backed securities, banks don't need to charge you as much interest to protect themselves. So then that's why rates end up dropping. Okay. So this has happened in 2008. So this is not anything new that Donald Trump just came up with. This happened in 2008. When they bought mortgage-backed securities. And what did it do? It focused on short-term interest rate reduction, employment. It helped stimulate the market. Okay. And then in 2010 to 2018, they actually purchased more mortgage-backed securities. They continued to hold and manage mortgage-backed securities. And then in 2020, that's when the last time Donald Trump was a part of this. So when the economy shut down, you remember when rates were at an all-time low at 2% and 3%. I got a few properties at that rate. My current home is at 7.125. I wish it was at 2 or 3%. Will it be that low again? I don't know. They're saying, the economists are saying that it may drop interest rates maybe 1% or 2%, but going down to 2 or 3% is probably not going to happen. Okay. So when rates drop, oh my God, that's going to stimulate the economy. Okay. So what happens when rates drop? The economy is stimulated. That means there's going to be more buyers coming to the market. Yay, that's great. But that means more demand and not a lot of supply. So people are waiting on the interest rates to drop. And here's the thing, when you wait on the interest rates to drop, you can wait yourself out of potential impossibilities. I have clients who were like, I think in 2020, I remember maybe around 2021, I have been talking to these people, these clients, probably since maybe 2012. And they finally bought maybe 2020. And they were waiting on another 2008. They were waiting on that fire sale. They were waiting on them $400,000 houses to be $100,000. And that's never going to happen again. And so while they were waiting, so the house that they ended up buying ended up being about $500,000 in 2020. But had they bought it in 2012, that house would have been somewhere like 200,000 maybe. So they ended up spending $300,000 more because they waited, because they thought the prices were going to drop. So what happens when the interest rates drop? Then we start seeing more movement on the market and housing prices go up. So you think about that. Yeah, okay, I'm going to wait on the sidelines and I'm going to wait until these rates go down. But everybody else is waiting until the rates go down. So what do you think that's going to do? It's going to be more demand than supply. It doesn't mean that there's going to be more houses on the market. So right now, when you have more houses on the market, you have, as a buyer, and I'm talking about looking at it from a strategy mindset. Warren Buffett said, you don't buy when everybody else is buying, you buy when everybody's selling. So right now, when there's more inventory on the market, you have more of an option as a buyer. Because as a seller, do you want to wait? Probably when the rates go down, because you can bump up your price. You can have bidding wars. It's more to your benefit as a seller. But for a buyer, you're probably going to end up paying more, because there's going to be bidding wars, because there's going to be more demand than there is supply. So it's going to bump up the prices, and you're going to end up spending more on the property anyway. So then it may end up that, I got a better interest rate, but the amount went up and I'm spending more on the property. And so you have to look at it as a strategy. When is it a good time to buy? Always. If you can buy real estate, do it. What they say, don't wait to buy real estate and wait, because real estate is also cyclical. It goes up and down. Okay. So if you are in a position where you could buy and you can afford, because people are so caught up on rates. And then here's the thing, and Marthella, we know, because we've been in the business 20 plus years, but we'll talk to people that are like, yeah, but my friend got a 4% interest rate. I want to get an interest rate like my friend. Well, a couple of things. It might not be the economy for a 4% interest rate. You might not have the same credit score as your friend with a 4% interest rate. There's so many variables. And a lot of times you quibbling over interest rate, and it may be a difference of $25, $30 in your payment, but you're so focused on that number that you're not focused on the bottom line. So if you can get into a property now and you can get in, and then you can refinance later, you might be able to get into a property where your seller is willing to offer concessions. Because when houses sit on the market a little bit longer, sellers are more apt to be willing to work with you on certain things. They might be able to pay your closing costs. They might be able to do some of the repairs that they wouldn't do in a seller's market. So you get in there, you sit on that thing as long as you can afford it. Don't buy more house than you can afford. And then after you're in, then you take advantage of the interest rates. So don't wait. But here's the thing that you need to do to get in position. You got to have clean credit. How is your credit? You got to know what your finances are. How are your finances? You got to organize your finances. You got to have stable income. What does that mean? That means that you should be in a job for 2 years. Does that mean you have to be in the same job for 2 years? No. I had an Indian client some years back. She had 3 different jobs in 2 years. The first job, she worked at a gas station. The second job, she worked at a warehouse. And the third job, she worked in the office. They were all very totally different. And she was able to get financing because she was working steadily. So there's a myth that, you got to be in the same job for 2 years. No, you just got to be employed for 2 years straight. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same job. So I need you to understand that. And so as you are growing, don't wait. Okay. Down payment. There is down payment assistance out there that may be able to help you. If you have 401k, I would always recommend that you try to pull from that. I would rather you pull from your 401k to purchase a home and put it on something that's an asset rather than a liability. So many people come to me, they go, hey, I'm going to take some money out of my 401k and pay my credit cards now. No! Why would you take from an asset to pay off a liability? You work on paying those credit cards off slowly but surely. But if you're going to buy anything with that money, you need to buy an asset like a real estate property. That's what I recommend. So you have to have strategy. And one of the things that I know that I'm really good at, that I add value, is when I sit down and talk to people, we're not just talking about, okay, how do you buy a house? I'm talking to you about the decor in the home. I love decor. I love the way houses look. I love all that stuff, but I don't care nothing about that shit. If you are working with me, we're talking strategy. We're talking about how to use this house as leverage so that you could buy more. I did a training and it's inside the Grow Your Money Club about how to don't buy a house with your spouse. And it's so funny because the people who saw that, they're like, you try to put the devil in my business. That's stupid. Why would I do that? No, I'm trying to help you to strategize so that you can get more, not less. So if you do it right, if you sit down and you do it right and you think about a 2 to 5 year strategy when you're purchasing your home, you can put yourself in a much better position to really build and grow your wealth. Did you need me?
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Range Rover right now.
Oh, hold on one second.
And so, do you know if it has a home warranty? I just texted you. You know if the car, home warranty. If the
car's on a warranty? I don't think so. We've had it for 3 years.
You don't think it's on a warranty?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
So,
Tell them to look in the glove compartment. Sorry, y'all. I just put my Range Rover in the shop. So, y'all, this is what you really need to. So, I was saying, when I sit down and talk to you, I'm talking strategy. And so when you're working with someone, if you know, and I'm not licensed in all 50 states, I'm only licensed in a few states, but you really need to sit down and talk to somebody who can really teach you strategy of how to build out that wealth portfolio, and not just talking about the decor of the home. Oh, is this going to fit here? Is this going to, no. How do we use this as leverage? Because it's time out that we are using these homes, and we are looking at them as this is going to be the home that I'm here for the rest of my life. Your first home should really be an asset so that you can build more wealth. Okay. And so you have to be in position. You got to have good credit. Now, credit, I am a credit expert. I have credit inside the Grow Your Money Club. You could take the credit repair masterclass. Miss Sophia's on here. She says she's increased her credit score 200 or 300 points since taking that training. Tons of people have done that. Okay. However, next month. So here's one thing I used to do. I used to do what's called credit parties. And I was like, I'm going to bring the credit parties back. I did this when I probably was 7-8 years into real estate. I'm 20 something years in. So maybe my last credit party was like maybe 2015 or something. And what I would do is I would go and it was like a Tupperware party. It's something I made up, and I would do it locally. So I would say, hey, I would tell, and this is something that I just did for free. It was whether I got business from it or not. And if anybody has been to any of my credit parties, tap in. But I will go to a friend's house. It's like a Tupperware party, and I would just talk credit, no expectation.
So they said that it's going to be. They asked me all the questions. They think that the engine is maybe the issue because somebody else checked it out. They feel like it will be a waste of time on their end if they do a whole inspection.
Did you tell them the engine? Something's wrong with the engine?
Yeah, like I told them to start smoking and stuff like that. So they were like, well, if it's ruled out as that, it might be the issue. So if you spend the $200 on the inspection, most likely.
So what do they want to do?
They probably have to replace the whole engine. They can't.
Okay, so have them do the inspection.
Huh?
Have them do the
Still
inspection.
do it anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
This is what happens when you live. All right. So in any case, so what I would do when the credit parties, I'm sorry, y'all. I got an immediate issue going on with my Range Rover. So, and so what I would do is I would go to people's houses and I would just educate them on credit. And then at the end, I would do one-on-ones with people, like confidential. We'd go into the room and we would just kind of look at their credit, and I would tell them what they need to do in order to improve their credit, and let them walk away with a copy of the credit report, and I would just help people one by one individually. And I said, well, those were really great because, again, impact, right? Helping people. And so I said, well, you know what? I want to start doing virtual credit parties. Then this is going to be able to help people from all over the country, not the world. So if you are watching from Canada, because I know people be watching from all over the world, this is not going to really help you because you don't have the same credit system. But wherever you are, I'm going to start doing free credit parties where I'm educating you. And I'm also going to give you an opportunity to do a hot seat where I'm going to help you specifically with your credit, and helping you to, showing you what you need to do to increase your credit score. So if you are interested, I'm doing my first credit party is going to be February the 3rd. Just go to gymmasterclass.com and let me see, where's Gym Masterclass? And so just sign up for the free credit party. It's a virtual credit party. Let me see. There's a flyer up in here. Oh yeah. So go to gymmasterclass.com, and I'm going to be doing these once a month. This is free to y'all. Well, we're just going to be talking credit. Why am I doing that? I can't sell everybody a house. I can't. So I'm not doing it to help me. I'm doing it to help our community. Okay. So this is something that I'm offering for free. Go to gymmasterclass.com to register for the virtual credit parties. I'll be doing them every single month. And eventually what I'd like to do is I'd like to create cohorts for potential home buyers. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But my goal is to really help globally, not globally, domestically help, a couple of hundred people to be able to get in homes all over the country this year. And that's the reason why I'm doing this. So this year, my goal is and whether, again, they don't have to use Catalyst. They don't have to use me as their mortgage company or anything like that. My goal is to help Black people because my goal is to help to close the wealth gap. So if you are in St. Louis, I'm not licensed there, but I can help you find a real estate professional. My team can help you find a real estate professional in that area. Once you go through our program, get your credit right, get your credit tight, because we have to get in position. Real estate is the number one way. You also got to get into get into business ownership. That's why I teach these other things. But I want to help a couple of hundred people this year to be able to get information so that they can start building wealth. So tell your friends, tell your family to go to the gymmasterclass.com, because my goal is to help as many of you as I can. So tomorrow is going to be, where we're going to really break down interest rates and home loans. And then I have some other training coming up too. But then also the virtual credit party, where we're going to really talk and get real surgical on the credit. Okay. So should you wait? No, you should prepare while the market is shifting, because when rates come down, that's when the competition comes back. Prices are going to get up. Lending guidelines are going to get tight again. Same people who were confused last time are going to be confused again. Here's the thing that I need you to understand, Black people. When I was a real estate broker in Stockton, California, which was the foreclosure capital of the United States in 2008, I was one of the top real estate brokers, REO brokers during that time. And what I will tell you is this. Those of us who weren't prepared were people who looked like me. We were the people who were foreclosing. The people who were prepared, it was everybody except for us. They were using their 401k. They were seeing these deals and these steals. And these people are now millionaires to this day, getting houses that were once $300,000 that were now $100,000. So they were using their 401k, taking it out. While people who look like me, what they were doing is they were saying, well, shoot, the house prices are going down. I'm gonna go ahead and give this up and not ride out the wave. I've seen that time and time again. And so we have to stop being reactive, and we got to start being proactive. We got to get in position. T. Harv Eker talks about being the right person in the right place at the right time. I talk about in my book, The Secret to Breaking the Bro Code, being ready to receive. So when I bought my marijuana dispensary, when I invested in the marijuana dispensary, I don't own the whole thing, but when I became an investor, I set the intention, right? And when that opportunity came up, I was ready to receive it. It was a 6-figure investment, and I was able to make that investment. Why? Because I was the right person in the right place at the right time. I was ready to receive. So you got to get in position. You got to get in formation. So when these opportunities present themselves to you, you can take advantage. Preparation is how you move from watching history to participating in history. Okay? So you have to act, and you got to step into your power. You don't control Trump. You don't control the Fed. You don't control interest rates. But what you absolutely do control is your credit. What you absolutely do control is your strategy and the fact that you are ready or not, because it's coming. And what side are you going to be on? Are you going to be the one complaining? Ain't nothing out there. What's happening? Are you going to be a victim, or are you going to be a victor? Okay. So I'm not trying to give you no fear. I just want you to be prepared, Black people. Okay. So I want you to make sure that you're in position to be able to be the right person in the right place at the right time. That's why education is the key. That's why you need to understand. This is what I tell my agents all the time, that when you have the knowledge, then you can make educated decisions. But if you don't know, then you don't know what you don't know. And you can't take advantage of the opportunities that come when you don't know nothing. Okay. So tomorrow, in the Grow Your Money Masterclass, we're going to talk about where I'm going to dig a little bit deeper in the in the interest rates. What you're going to understand is how they work, how lenders decide what rates you get, the difference between different types of loan programs. What's an FHA loan? What's a conventional loan? What will I actually qualify for? How does my debt to income ratio affect my approval? What does all that look like? How am I able to calculate what my payments will be based upon how much money I make? Why somebody can qualify a lot easier than others. This is not just for first-time home buyers. This is for people who are investors. This is for future home buyers. This is for people who are thinking about refinancing and you're tired of guessing via Google, but you want to leave with education and clarity instead of confusion. So I just want to offer that invitation to you. Go to gymmasterclass.com, free. And if you don't make the live, it's no longer going to be free, because then you're going to have to join the Grow Your Money Club in order to see all the training. I have over 30 plus trainings inside the Grow Your Money Club. And what happens is, if you don't get on here when it's live for free, then you have to be a part of the membership. But I have so many other trainings inside the Grow Your Money Club I have so many other trainings inside the Grow Your Money Club besides those that you definitely want to tap into if you really want to grow your money and don't blow your money. So if you do, go to growyourmoney.club if you just want to take advantage of some of the training that's in there. Where's growyourmoney.club? I don't know where the banner is. It's growyourmoney.club. Now, before I get out of here, because I got growyourmoney.club. So if you want to just take advantage of some of the training inside, go to Grow Your Money Club. Also, I don't know if you guys know, I have what's called the Net 7 Collective. And last week we had our kickoff meeting, and this is for Black women. Okay. So this is one thing that's specifically for Black women. And the Net 7 Collective, it is a group of Black women from all over the country, and we are working together to create, grow, and build our wealth. And it is absolutely amazing. So if you don't know, let me see, where's my Net 7 Collective? I don't think I have a Net 7 Collective video up in here. That's crazy. But I'm starting the new cohort. And if you are interested in, joining this group of Black women that I personally coach, that's working directly with me, with a bunch of Black women from all walks of life, from, whatever they are, from entertainers and doctors and engineers and lawyers, educators. This is just brilliant Black women in a community of just women who are just doing the damn thing. And you don't have to be doing a damn thing, because everybody's not like super accomplished, but you're in a space where we're just Black women and we want to help each other. And so that's what the Net 7 Collective is. So if you're interested, if you are a Black woman or you know a Black woman, have them tap in, go to net7collective.com. Let me try to find the link. And then if you go to net7collective.com, schedule a one-on-one appointment with me. This is an opportunity to talk to me, and we can talk about what that looks like for you. If you would, if it will be a mutually beneficial fit for everyone involved. So go to Net 7 Collective. Shit, I don't got it in here. Let me see, Net 7 Collective. Okay, it's saying that I already got it up in here. Let's see. net7collective.com. All right. So go to net7collective.com. If you want to be a part of the inner circle of Black women that I coach every single Wednesday, go to net7collective.com. It's not a miss. Everything, again, I do is because I exist to help Black people build, grow, and pass their wealth. And one of the things, about passing their wealth is living trust. So if you don't have a living trust, please, I created an ebook. It's sold over 5,000 copies. But go to makemylivingtrust.com so that you can get a copy of it. It's only $25. If you own a property, the property does not have to be paid for. You can get a living trust for you could create your living trust, $25. I show exactly how to do it, the prompts, how to create your medical directives, how to record them in your county, and how to have specific verbiage for the state that you reside in. So if you don't have it, you need to get it because it's going to help protect your legacy. So when I talk about building legacy, building wealth, I'm talking about through ownership, through home ownership, through business ownership. Grow your business. I'm talking about through investing, growing your wealth. I'm talking about through investing and helping you strategize and taking it to the next level, and then protect it. That's through your living trust. That's through your asset protection. We doing it all right here. So if you're in California, DC, Maryland, Virginia, Catalyst Real Estate Professionals can help you with that. But anywhere else, join my master classes so that I can help you get on track with your stuff. All right. So I hope that you guys can come to the gym masterclass tomorrow. I'll be on, and let's go. I gotta get on this call with Catalyst in 20 minutes, but I appreciate you, and I love you for real in real life, Black people. I will see you on the other side. All right, later.